So you're saying that we expect too much out of the synoptic authors because they have a particular audience. That audience would have heard what they needed to hear in order to come to the right conclusions. Here's what I would say is that I would acknowledge that that's a very much a possibility. I would disagree with it simply because of this. In the sense of purpose, yes, they had their purpose, but I would disagree with because of these questions that would be left unanswered in my mind that are big enough to leave it off that hook. Okay, who did they present Christ to be? You might say, well, the Messiah. That was enough. I'd say, well, in their context, was the Messiah supposed to be the second person of the eternal Trinity, or, the same essence of God, the Son of God, in such a way that he shares in the divine essence, not as birth from God and as this unique, bigger, greater Son that was created from God, but actually this eternal being. I would say, no, that's not what they were expecting. And so their expectations were what? Well, they were expecting the Messiah to come save Israel. And they didn't, in any sense, expect him to be God. And they expected him to rescue Israel from the problems that they were in, which he didn't do from their perspective. So everything was different than their perspective. And so whenever they wrote it, I don't think that, I don't know if I could ever get out of an encounter with someone without presenting not only, what Christ did and how to believe in him, but actually who he was. Say, listen, you got to get Christ who he was down. And I don't just say, listen, I want you to leave you with that he's the Son of God. Because you might misinterpret, as some people in history have, he was created being. He came into existence as a son. No, you misunderstand that. So therefore, based upon the history of the church and the history of problems that we have had, I'd say, listen, you've got to understand, Jesus is God. Well, what about the Father? Well, then I present the Trinity, whatever else. And so I would say in the context, that's the most important thing, is to get away with who is this Christ. And I'm not saying they left them insufficiently without a gospel. I'm not saying they left them without enough of the puzzle pieces to be saved. I'm just saying that they could have been clearer, and I'm not saying they should have been. I'm saying, God, you should have done this differently. Here's the way I'd do it. I get to him all the time with that stuff, about my life. But what I am saying is there was a definite purpose here, and there was a definite purpose to the inductiveness that could have been so deductive, like John was, if the gospel writers knew everything. And I don't think they had it figured out. That's my current standing, is I don't think they had it all figured out.